Welcome to this week's episode of the Lovefly Fear of Flying Q&A. That's a mouthful, isn't it? How are you doing? My name is Paul Tizzard. I'm one of the co-founders behind this Lovefly group. I know a lot of you know this, but there are many new joiners that we have every week. So I want to say that's who I am. So thank you very much for being part of this community. Thank you for joining and, coming through and finding us. There's lots of other groups out there, but we try to run this in a certain way that's super supportive and to give people a chance to get their questions answered. But also, if you're looking for other help as well, that's why we're here. So there's lots of free resources in this place. So the question that's coming up this week is around what do I do on board if I'm, experiencing turbulence and I think to myself, crikey, what do I do if it's not really turbulence? Maybe it's something more sinister. So I'll answer that. Turbulence is a big area, so that's always a great question that we like to have. But also there's an element of something else going on there as well. I'm actually hoping on this call that we'll be joined by Susan Munjum, who's our clinical person at Lovefly. And if that comes up as an invite, Facebook Lives do a weird thing. So I'm trying to, at the moment, use that in a way that actually invites other humans on. So, So stop waffling. So again, like I say, welcome to this group. Now, to orientate yourself around all the things that are available here, there's quite a few bits and bobs with the Lovefly. So you've obviously got the Lovefly podcast, which you can get anywhere. Anywhere that you get podcasts, you should be able to find us. And we are up to around just under 300 episodes now. So it's just phenomenal, all these people that give their time. And on these web podcasts are experts and people like you. So we've got lots of aviation specialists and experts that John Bond finds, but we have normal humans just like you who are going through their own fear of flying journeys, trying to overcome their fear of flying, and that's how it works. So we've got a whole bunch of those. We also have lots of free resources which you can find on our website, which is lovefly.co.uk or .aero, A-E-R-O. That's lovefly.aero, and you can see lots of things in there like some children's resources to help nervous young people. There's also the flight checklist, which Captain Bing Bong Peter Higgins created and donated to Lovefly to help thousands of people so far. There's what else is on there? The introductory letter, which Mr. John Bond created, which is a letter that you can use when you go on your flights and you want to give something to the crew in a very discreet way and say, look, I've got fear of flying and this is what would really help me. That's very popular download as well. So if you're in the Lovefly Facebook group, you can download some of these things there in the files section. So if that makes sense to you for those who are in the Facebook group. But we are in lots and lots of social media. If you search for Lovefly, we have a profile, thanks to John, somewhere, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, X, lots of other things I don't really know. Substack are on there. We've got some great articles on there as well, which, so you can have a look. And our YouTube channel, which is Lovefly Team, at Lovefly Team. And if you go on there, you can watch lots of videos, not just the podcasts, but also other bits and bobs that you can learn from. Lots of free stuff in there is there for you to subscribe to and to find out about. And also these Q&As, they go on there as well. So Facebook, they delete them. If you're watching this through Facebook, they get deleted after 30 days now under the new policy, the new regime. But we send them through to, well, John does them up onto the YouTube channel as well. So they're always available to watch. So this week's podcast, it was fabulous. I'm just trying to remember the person's name at the moment, but no doubt any minute now it'll pop into my head. We were talking about the importance of overcoming fear of flying and that it's never too late. I'm just going to try and remember now who the hell it is. This is embarrassing. I have this really great memory. So I'm talking to somebody later on today for a one-to-one, because we do one-to-one coaching. But also occasionally we get a clash and we start to have other things come through as well. So we start thinking, all right, so luckily this week we've got 3 podcasts that we're recording, so which makes for really interesting viewing, but it's it also means that sometimes I get a bit confused. Who do I just speak to? But I had a brilliant conversation at the weekend, and it was just so phenomenal to sort of think about, like when you've had a fear of flying and you perhaps have had years and years of just beating it, trying to fight it, and then eventually you just decide enough's enough. And I was talking about, it doesn't matter how old you are, no matter how old you are, it's never ever too late to do something about it. So yes, the name's gone out of my head now. God, this is embarrassing. I'm not going to say it's old age, because it's nothing to do with being old. I've always been a bit forgetful. But I just can't remember who I speak to. It's embarrassing. Anyway, this week on Wednesday, amazing podcast with somebody I can't remember the name for, which will come to me the second I hang up from this call. So let's go to the question. So this week's question has come in, and it's around, like, I'm on board an aircraft. So I think it was posted last week. And the reason why I mention it now is because if you post a question in the Facebook group for the Fear of Flying Q&A, but you miss the deadline, which obviously people do because you watch this on different time zones, then I don't see it in time. So I'd already, put this out before this person's question came in. So I'm picking it up from last week. So the question was, on one level, I know that turbulence is safe, but I still have this fear that, what if turbulence happens and it's not really turbulent and it's not something which is safe like turbulence, so that's a positive, isn't it? That somebody goes, I know that turbulence is safe, and that actually as long as I've got my seatbelt on, I'm okay. But the question was like, well, what if it's not really turbulent? So then we start slipping into like a little bit of conspiracy theory, if you like. And one of the things I'll say about that is that when you are thinking about, you're on board the aircraft and you think, oh my goodness, what if it's something more sinister than turbulence? Where does that leave me? Now, the reality is turbulence is not dangerous to an aircraft. It's not dangerous to you if you've got your seatbelt on. It doesn't mean it's comfortable. It just means it can be very uncomfortable sometimes, but generally pilots and flight planners and etc. will be trying to route you around it, but that's for comfort reasons, not for safety. The only slight safety element is that if you're wandering around and turbulence happens and the seatbelt sign's on and you're not sat down, then there's a chance you'll fall over. And so most of the injuries tend to happen to crew, unfortunately, because they're the ones that are up and about. But if you're sat down, got your seatbelt on, you are attached to the aircraft and you will come to no harm, even if you don't like it. But people do worry about turbulence, and they also have this thing like, well, what if it's more than that? So the good news is this: if it's something more than turbulence, well, in fact, even if it is turbulence, there tends to be an announcement either by the cabin crew or by the flight deck. But what if it's more than turbulence? Well, this is us imagining, catastrophizing, thinking things, it's much worse than that. They're not telling us something. But the reality is, if it was something more dramatic, you'd be told about it. So rather than worrying, they're not holding something back, if it's turbulent, and they'll talk about turbulence, if it's something else more sinister, as in your brain, you might be thinking that, then they have to tell you. So if they say, well, actually, I can't think what it would be, but, so anything that's going to affect your journey, you have to be told about. Okay, so if it's they're not allowed to land because there's a storm over that particular airport, or there's thunderclouds near the airport, or there's some other reason they've been diverted for something else, they have to tell you. So that's what I was thinking. So trust us when you are flying. If you feel like, actually, I'm not sure what's going on, just ask somebody, ask a member of the crew, because the crew like to be asked things. They find it helpful to be approached. They are trained. They like people. As crazy as that might sound, they like to help people. So just let them know, and then people can do something to help you. Okay, so I want to mention another site, and this is where we're asking for your help. So you've obviously found Lovefly, you've found our website, you've found the resources, you've found our Facebook group, you've found the YouTube, you've found our other places that we have things going on. But perhaps you haven't found one of our other sites, which is where we ask you to rate your flights. And this is called the Anxious Flyer Airline Review, or AFAR, AFAR, .aero, AERO. So what we're asking for is, when you fly, could you please rate the care that you receive as a nervous flyer? Rate the airline. And it asked you various questions around, like, you know, what was the cabin crew like? What was the pre-process like? What was it like getting on board? How were the crew with you? How were the PAs? You know, so, you know, the flight deck PAs. Did you feel like you were looked after as a nervous flyer? And so we are trying to build up a picture, because obviously the more people that we have, the more reviews that we have, the more that we can talk to airlines and say, look, keep doing this stuff, but also pay attention to this, because this is what will help nervous flyers. So the website domain again is afar.aero. Okay, so that's AFAR.aero. So thank you for all of those you are watching. I can't actually see anybody today apart from Lisa Barnden Knight. So hello, Lisa. Thank you for joining the group. And just lastly to say thank you very, very much to all the people that have joined the Lovefly community. We are delighted to have you as part of the community. And this is your chance to ask questions, to find out a little bit more, get some help, get some reassurance. Perhaps you want people to track your flight when you're flying, things like this that we can all do. And we keep the group very, very positive. It's very well monitored. And as we approach 12,000 members, and maybe some of you that are here in the group still will remember the very early days when it was just over 100 people, we are super, super grateful to you for being part of this, staying part of the community, and also recommending it to other people. And we will continue and carry on, keep offering help to people that need it. And please, if you come across anybody that is a nervous flyer, wants a bit of reassurance,